Well, hello. I am here on our second Facebook Live for Pastor Appreciation at Crossroads Church here in Moss Bluff, and we are highlighting Jill Dohrman, our children's pastor.
I am.
And we're going to try to ask her questions that maybe you are not familiar with or you don't know the answer, or that will just help us understand her job and really make us appreciate her even more. So I want to encourage you as you get on to send us questions, and we will ask them throughout this live podcast. So, but I'm going to get us started with the first question, and that is, tell us how you got started at Crossroads, and then after you got started with Crossroads, how you got into the children's ministry.
Well, that's easy. A long, long time ago, like about 22 years ago, I came here after doing some church shopping because I come out from the Catholic faith, and I wanted to, after all those years, I wanted to seek something different. Mm-hmm. So that being said, after trying a few here and there, I ended up here, and Terry was preaching. What made me come back a second time was at the end of the service, he said, "Oh, and by the way, if you're not a, member here, don't feel obligated to give." And I thought, what? And I've never heard that before. So and then the music was like really cool. So I then came back the next week to see if he was going to do that again. See if that was just
that was just a one-time thing. Yeah.
So I came back the second Sunday, and everything was just the same. And so I thought, okay, this is a church where, I think I can really develop a relationship with God, different from the ones I had been to. I said, this is where I'm going to root, I believe. So a few weeks went by, 3-4 weeks, and they had these old ladies there. Oh, by the way, I'm the old lady now. But they had these old ladies there, and they just kind of hovered around me like a hen, just making sure, I was happy. And so one day I said, "I really love coming here. What can I do to serve?"
Oh, wow.
And she said, "Do you bake cakes?" I said, "Yeah, I can bake a cake." She says, "Well, we're always needing somebody to bake something." I said, "Okay." So that was where it started.
Oh, wow.
And that was like after 3-4 weeks being here. And then I just started really, because I love kids. I've always had jobs that, it was like a school bus driver for 35 years. And anyway, so I thought, I'm just going to look into that. So the next week I went ahead and just started looking at what that looked like. And I don't know, I just thought, I felt like I was navigating to the kids department, and long story short, I wasn't here but a year and a half before I was, running this thing, and where, I had the kids stuff. Because we were changing at that time.
Oh, you were.
We were building on, adding on, but actually this was before that. So it's probably been 17 years for sure that I've been on staff, and 20 years or 21 years that I've been teaching in
the children's ministry.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
So you came up with the kids stuff
in the Bluff
thing. Yeah.
Oh, not kids stuff in the Bluff. That's summer.
Yeah,
just kids stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we had gone to a conference, and for let's see, what is it called, North Point in Georgia, and their, the curriculum that we use for our kids is from their church, and it's called Kids Stuff. So I was just, going off of that, yeah.
Okay.
But now we're not Kids Stuff, we are Crossroads Kids Stuff.
That's right. So now you've heard the story of how she got started here, and maybe it's prompted you to ask a question, so I'm going to just encourage you to let us know in the comments if you have a question. Please let us know, because we want to know what you want to know about Jill.
Ask anything you want. I'm liable to answer it.
Okay. Since it's Pastor Appreciation Month, one of the questions we would like to know is, what are some of your favorite gift items?
That is not. I don't know. I was thinking about that and think, I really don't know.
Do you like to drive through Sonic and get a Sonic drink?
No.
Or do you go through Wendy's? Or do you go through Popeyes? Nope.
But my husband does.
Okay. But it's not Eric's Pastor Appreciation.
I know. Yeah. He's the shopper. I'm not the shopper. I'm just, I don't know. I guess gift certificates, to a place to eat. Because he and I can both do that together. And he's happy, and that makes me happy.
So maybe a Visa card that just has money on it, and
Yeah.
you can always use it for gas
you know what?
or whatever.
The best thing is, I'll tell you what I love, but you only do it if you really mean it. And that's where a parent will come up to me and they'll say, you have just taught my kids so much, or they'll say something that just affirms that God has me in the right place, doing the right thing for the right reason, and I just love that. That's my favorite thing.
It's
because
a compliment.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment, but that this is what God is using to teach little children about Jesus. Because in kid stuff, we have a couple of mottos. The first one is, if it's not fun, we're not doing it. and that's pretty much me. I don't want to do it if it's not fun. The other one is to love God, love others, do your best, and have fun. And we just push that mentality so, that they can grow up doing the same. And I just think it's such an honor to be able to bring kids, one kid at a time, to understand Jesus. And to have such an amazing team like we do in Kid Stuff, because we have like about 60 people who volunteer just in Kid Stuff. Wow. And whether they're teaching or just watching or doing the sign-in or the nursery, that's my compliment, is that somebody wants to be a part of this. That's the compliment.
Well, I have a question from one of the viewers today, and this might be perfect timing. What is your favorite part of being a children's pastor?
Oh, that's easy, because when they get it. I'll work real hard on my lesson, and I'll put down what I think, because I don't want to overdo it, because you'll lose them. You got a short attention span to work with. And so I thought, how can I say this? How can I present this in a way that they'll get it? And when that happens, that's the cream of the crop there, And then and also they'll ask me questions about it, so I know they were listening, So I think that's it for me, to just that they are present and they want to know more. And plus all the hugs.
And you've been doing this, you said, for over 20 years, so you have seen a lot of success stories, I guess you could say, of them being little toddlers, and now they're adults.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's got to be such a blessing to your heart to see.
It is, and this is really cool, because we have what we call the Jesus jug. And all it is just one of those big old water jugs, that's empty, and the kids bring their offerings on Sunday for our ORR, Orphan Relief Program. And we're sponsoring 12 kids from Africa. That's Liberia and Benin. And so when they bring their little monies and everything, anyway, we started this a long time ago when, like, Micah Artizone was like, maybe that big, So what they did was that we took this water jug, and they put their handprints on it in paint, and then we have Jesus jug on it and everything. So when I'm gonna cry. But every time I look at those hands, and I go, that little bitty hand, and Micah's hand is like this big now, It just kind of just says, it speaks,
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for that question, and I'm just going to remind you, we are interviewing Jill Dohrman here as Crossroads Kid Stuff Children's Pastor, and if you have any questions, we urge you to write those in the comments, and we will get to those questions. So, all right. Another question I'd like to ask you is, what is something a child has asked you or told you that makes you chuckle when you think about it?
I don't know. There's a lot of that, I mean, they're just so cute. Oh, yeah, there's that. That's a whole nother story.
How did that get started?
I got you first.
I got you first, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it started with Micah and Caleb.
Oh, okay.
And Charlie Lachlan. And it was just this silly game we play that whenever whoever sees each other first has to touch each other and say, I got you first. Well, I mean, it just kind of grew.
And now, because my grandsons are doing it now.
And Camden cheats. I'm telling you, I just love them kids. They're just so much fun. Anyway, so now everybody wants to get in it, so I'm always being touched.
I got you first.
So anyway, but that's pretty much the long and the short of that. Right. But I think just being around the kids is just so much fun. I have a real compassion for kids. I don't want kids to be sad, hurt, or afraid, ever. I don't want people to have kids if they don't want to be a parent. I want kids to have the atmosphere of love and nourishment and safety and joy. That's what I want. And as a school bus driver for so many years and driving in certain subdivisions, you get to see all kind of faces, and some of them are not happy. So I just like being a part of someone's day, a kid's day, that might give them that little smile or that little peaceful moment, something to think about that would, different. Because sometimes these kids come out of houses, not here, I'm talking about on the bus, and you can tell they just came out of a very chaotic situation. So but it's, it's in everybody's house. We have chaos. It's just control it. Be careful what your kids hear and see so that they don't take it on themselves, so it doesn't rob them of the chance of being a happy kid. So, and I'm very sensitive to that.
I can see where God has gifted you with that insight into looking at deeper within a child's eyes and into their heart, and that's a true gift from God. So we really honor that and know that you are doing what God has created you to do. So we thank you for that.
I want to touch on what you just said about gifts, and my gift is being with children, teaching children, being with children. Your gift is going to be something else. But one thing I hear from people, I don't see how you do it. How do you not get tired? How do you always stay in a good mood? And that's because it is a gift. In other words, whenever you are operating from the gift that God gave you, you are not doing it alone. You have the presence of His Spirit in you, motivating you and inspiring you, and so it makes it look like you're the one doing it, but really it's a combination of someone who says, I want to know what my gift is and I want to follow through with that, and just see that connection and watch it just blossom. And then when you do it, because I don't get tired of doing it, you don't, because you're not doing it by yourself.
Right. Okay, I'm going to just remind you once again, if you've just hopped on, that we are taking questions for Jill, who is the children's ministry pastor here at Crossroads Church in Moss Bluff. So we're ready and anxious to take any questions that may help you learn a little bit more about what makes Jill tick. So, but I do have another question for you. What are some of your favorite hobbies outside of Crossroads?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, as you get older, they change. Yes. It depends how far back you want to go. But for this seasons of life, I've always liked working outside. I'm an outside person. I'm better outside. And so I love working in the yard. I love gardens and things like that. I love animals.
You do vegetable gardens too, don't you? Not just flowers. Huh?
Oh no, I want to eat something.
She has a green thumb.
Yeah, and so that's probably my go-to hobby. But I don't know. I like art projects. In fact, I'm working on one right now for some kids that we do this every year, and we just build something. For whatever the season is. Right now, it'll be for fall or Christmas. So.
Right. And for some of you that maybe don't know Jill, she is a dog lover and has a wonderful dog. Tell us about your dog.
T-Bone?
T-Bone.
Oh my gosh. T-Bone's a boxer. And for anybody who knows me, they probably know T-Bone. He's probably just the funniest thing in the world. He's very smart. He's got a very large vocabulary. My boxer before T-Bone was Brisket. So I'm sticking with this meat theme,
You are.
I guess the next boxer would be, I got it. He's going to be sirloin. Or meathead. But I like animals. I've raised younger, not now, but when I was in my 30s, I just got a message to say ribeye would be an option. Okay. You better not walk too close to the barbecue pit. But the other one was Brisket, and but years ago I used to raise Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's, if you don't know what that is, that's a very awesome dog. They're very large, and they're very territorial and loyal, and great dog. But again, animals, horses, had lots of horses growing up, and got lots of stories, got lots of aches and pains to talk, I can tell you about.
Jill and I are really close because we are on staff together, and we are of the same age, and so we share a lot of the same things that happen in our lives with children and grandchildren. And I know you love your grandchildren like I love my grandchildren. You want to tell us how many grandchildren you have?
7.
You have 7,
which is not a whole lot compared to some people, like the swallows. But 7's good.
Yeah.
And I do. Yeah. I love that's probably my hobby is the grandkids. Yeah.
And I know they love you too. Yeah. So
especially when I cook gumbo.
Oh wow. Yeah. Which is
it's time. We already did. Actually, I cooked some the other day and shared it with them. So brought some to their house because they just moved.
That's great. One thing, let me just put another plug in. If anybody has a question for Jill, we're taking questions, so write those in the comments. But one thing I wanted to say is I just wanted to honor you today because Jill is so, what is my word? She is dedicated in her position here. And so a lot of us knew that she had hip surgery in the last
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Which we were praising God that was very successful. And she was scheduled to have knee surgery on October 3rd, but some complications came up, and she was going to have to go another route with another doctor. And God just laid it on her heart that it was not going to be the right time because of her role here at Crossroads and what was happening. And she has postpone that till the first of next year.
Yeah.
So
I
just wanted everybody to know that that's the dedication level that she operates on.
Thank you very much.
She is she's 100%.
I really just wanted to get the hip done and the knee done, like within 6 weeks, and it's because it'd be reconstructing me while we're reconstructing our worship center, and we'd all be fixed at the same time. But it didn't work out that way.
It didn't work out that way. But that's okay. Yeah. That's all right. Okay. All right. In your opinion, what makes Crossroads unique as a church?
That's a good question. I don't know if we have enough time because there's just so many things that makes Crossroads different. When you've visited other churches, you can go there and say, oh, that was really nice. You go there, same thing. But I don't know. This is just, for one thing, Crossroads always makes you feel welcomed. You come in and it feels safe and it feels accountable. I mean, you just feel like I want to come a second time, and then next thing you know, 22 years later, you've been here a while. It's just, the music is so awesome. And we have Terry who's just an awesome pastor. He's just so down to earth. He'll make you laugh, he'll make you cry, he'll say things that is like, I don't know about that, but you still love him. I don't know what that's about. But and then we have Eric Foshi, the assistant pastor. He's just, when Terry's not here because he's out of town or something, Eric steps in and there is no lapse. I mean, so we have a great program here for all ages. I would really encourage you, if you're one of the parents that keeps your kids in the big church, to encourage them to come to Kids Stuff, because they're generally not doing it because they're scared or they just want to be by their mama. But there's so much more for them here. They can learn something here that they do not know. There's games and we teach the word, and there's dancing and there's music, and I just hate for someone to have to miss that, any kid to have to miss that.
Yeah. And what age group is that for those that may not know?
We have nursery all the way to 5th grade. And the Kids Stuff, the nursery is from 0 to 2. And then we take the 4-year-olds all the way to 5th grade from there.
All right. Okay. All righty. Are there any things that you see that you would like to grow in this ministry, or do you see any differences on the horizon coming?
Well, I think change is good because that's a sign of growth. Charles Stanley says, if you're thinking about tomorrow, you're still young. And so I think as long as we keep thinking about what we're going to do tomorrow, keep advancing and changing, and that's a sign of life and circulation and growth. And so we are up for that. In fact, being the church worship center has to be redone because of the fire, we are going to hit this kid stuff area afterwards, and so we're talking about that, how to bring that up to a more updated environment. So, and you know what? When you're older, changes are not the most welcome thing, but you know what? It keeps you young.
Right. That's exactly right. We haven't had any more questions, so
Y'all afraid to ask them.
We've probably got just maybe 5-10 more minutes, so we have plenty of time. If you want to ask Jill a question in the comment area, I encourage you to do that. I was just thinking about are there if there's anyone out there that maybe might be thinking about getting involved in the children's ministry, what would you say to someone like that?
Come see me. Come see me. We have to do a background check on anybody who is with children, but first you have to do growth track. Because growth track is a program that's put together for you to find out what your gifts are, and how you can best understand God's relationship with you and you with Him, and where you can fit, where you can understand the way Crossroads works.
And you find out your strengths.
Yeah, your strengths, and you just, I don't know. Growth track is definitely the step one. Step two is to, if you are gifted to where you want to be with children, then I'm the next person you see.
Yes, yeah. She's always welcoming people.
Yes. Whether you like to deal with the little bitty babies or the older, the fifth graders or somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter. It all works.
Okay, all righty. Well, I just got handed a question, and this comes from Haley Opal.
Hi, Haley.
And she said, "What did all God's people say?"
Amen.
So here's one of yours. Here's one that
and she's like an adult,
I mean,
that's
right.
Yeah,
that's
we miss
so
Haley.
Yes.
We don't get to see her so much anymore.
That's right. Oh,
they grow and they go,
Yeah. So,
I can tell you a few stories about kids who, we teach things like you don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself, or like what happens if you're bullying. So this particular lesson was about, what do you tell someone who's bullying you? Say, well, is that what Jesus would do? And so the kid actually did that to the next time that happened, and the kid just said, "What?" And he said, "Well, is that what Jesus would do?" And the kid just turned around and left. And I said, that's exactly what was supposed to happen.
Awesome.
And then there was another kid I could, like I said, all day long tell you stories. But I remember we always tell, let's see, how do you, again, is that what Jesus would do? So this particular child was in the presence of her parents. I guess they were having a dispute. And the daddy said something, and she said, "Daddy, is that what Jesus would say?"
Oh, wow.
So he came and talked to me about it.
So they are listening.
Oh, they're listening.
They are listening.
You better know that. And so he came and talked to me about it, and he basically was saying thanks,
Oh.
because Jesus told the spirits, be quiet, and so sometimes all we need is to hear the truth, especially when you're in a volatile type of situation. It kind of just breaks the heat, So.
And coming from a child is always resonating
Yeah,
louder than sometimes our peers or our spouses or whatever. So that is so.
I had another
so
mother
awesome.
come up. She says, "You know where I learned the Our Father?" And I said, "No, where?" And she says, "From her kid," because we always say the Our Father.
Really?
And they would recite it in their car, I guess, when they were traveling and going places. And she says that's how she learned the Our Father. That was from her kid.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that's really neat.
That's so cool. Okay, I have another question from one of our viewers. They're asking, what in your life makes you feel closest to God? Like, example, taking a walk outside or...
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, when I really get that feeling, that spiritual, this has nothing to do with kids.
That's right.
This is when I see a man on his knees going to God, whether he's going to the altar to just pray, or when I see a man worshiping God. Something about seeing a man just submit and just say, "God, I'm all yours." You have these big old strong men, and they just say, "I'm nothing without you." that moves me, because it really takes a real man to do that. So that's, for me, that's it. That's one of the things, one of many things, but that's the one that really will make me cry faster.
And I had the pleasure of going to Jill's home recently. She asked her home to be blessed, and I was in a group of people, and she has a prayer closet, and I want you to kind of expound on that. I was very impressed with that.
I have a screen porch that I had closed in about maybe, 10 years ago. And so at first it was just a place to put things, but then I took a whole part of it, a whole corner of it, and just put in a desk, and I've got all these things on the wall, scriptures and things that have, grown me, things that are remind me. It's my prayer closet. Yeah, I love it.
And I can see that drawing you close.
In fact, just this morning when I was in there, because I go there when I wake up. When I was there, I was just, I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna cry right now. Stop. I was thinking, God, I love this place. I love this closet. It's just
the Holy Spirit.
Yes. Big things have happened there.
Right. And it reminded me of the movie The War Room, and how she made her prayer closet. That was a good movie. And everything.
Yeah, because that opened our minds to the possibility of taking a place in your house, making it special for worship, and prayers. Yeah.
Because without that, your ministry would not thrive. I mean, it's your relationship with the Lord and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, because it says it's conversations that take place in that room, and begging God, please let me be able to get it. Let me be able to inspire me. Give me the right message so I can give to them. I want to be that person for them, meaning kids and stuff. Well, anybody, but, so.
Well, this has been a pleasure to be on this Facebook Live with you. And
thank you.
I think we've kind of dug a little deeper into what makes you tick and what you do here, and we honor you. We appreciate you so much, and we thank you for watching today. And any last words you'd like to say? Anything?
Love God, love others, do your best, have fun. And it never changes.
Okay. Thank you.